Once there was a boy named Aarav who lived in a quiet village surrounded by rivers and fields. His father was a potter, a hardworking man who made clay pots and sold them in the market. Every morning, Aarav watched his father shaping clay on his wheel. The man's hands were rough, his clothes were torn, but his eyes always carried peace. One evening, Aarav asked, "Father, aren't you tired of doing the same thing every day?" His father smiled and said, "Son, even clay must be shaped many times before it becomes strong enough to hold water." Aarav didn't understand what he meant. He was young, impatient, and full of dreams. He wanted to do something big in life, not just make pots. But no matter what he tried, he seemed to fail. When he helped his father, the pots he made cracked. When he went to school, his marks were low. Even in sports, he was always the last to be picked. One day, frustrated, Aarav said to his father, "Maybe I'm just not good at anything. Everything I touch breaks." His father looked at him calmly and said, "Then you must learn to break differently." Aarav frowned. "What do you mean?" His father picked up a half-made clay pot and said, "Watch." He pressed his fingers too hard, and the pot bent out of shape. Then he smiled and said, "See? I broke it, but now I'll fix it." He reshaped the clay again, slowly, patiently, until it became even more beautiful than before. "The pot doesn't become strong by staying perfect," his father said. "It becomes strong because it was shaped again after being broken." That night, Aarav couldn't sleep. He kept hearing his father's words. It becomes strong because it was shaped again after being broken. The next morning, he went back to the workshop early. His father was surprised. "What are you doing here so soon?" "I want to try again," Aarav said. He sat at the wheel, placed the clay, and began shaping it. The pot broke again, but this time, he didn't get angry. He reshaped it. It broke again, and again he fixed it. For hours, he kept trying. By sunset, he had made his first pot that didn't crack. When he showed it to his father, the old man smiled proudly. "Now you understand, Aarav. Failure is not your enemy. It's the hand that shapes you." From that day, Aarav started helping his father every morning before school. Slowly, he improved, not just in pottery, but in patience, discipline, and focus. Years passed, and Aarav grew into a young man. His pots became the finest in the village. People came from nearby towns to buy his work. But one year, a great flood hit the village. The river overflowed, destroying homes and washing away everything, including Aarav's small workshop. When the water dried, all that remained was broken clay and mud. His father sat quietly, staring at the ruins. Aarav felt his heart sink. "All our work, it's gone." His father turned to him and said softly, "So? Then we'll make it again." Aarav was angry. "How, father? The wheel is broken, the clay is gone, even the house is ruined." The old man smiled faintly. "And yet, we are still here. Isn't that enough?" Those words hit Aarav deeply. He realized that just like the clay, life could break. But as long as one keeps reshaping it, there's still hope. So Aarav gathered the leftover clay from the ground. It was messy, full of stones, and difficult to work with, but he didn't stop. Day after day, he cleaned it, shaped it, and rebuilt his father's workshop piece by piece. Months later, people who had lost everything began coming to him for help. Aarav taught them how to make pots, how to sell them, and how to earn again. The entire village slowly rebuilt itself with his guidance. One day, a wealthy merchant passing through saw Aarav's pots. He was so impressed that he offered to buy hundreds of them and invited Aarav to the city to open a bigger shop. Aarav looked at his father, who smiled proudly and said, "Go, my son. The clay is ready." Years later, Aarav became one of the most successful potters in the country. But whenever someone asked him the secret behind his success, he would say, "Because I refused to break, and when I did, I shaped myself again." He never forgot his father's words. The pot doesn't become strong by staying perfect. It becomes strong because it was shaped again after being broken. So, remember, your failures are not your end. They are simply the wheel turning, shaping you into something stronger. Every time you fall, rebuild yourself. Every time life breaks you, rise again. Because that's how clay becomes pottery. And that's how humans become unbreakable. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more powerful stories of perseverance and courage. Because sometimes, all it takes is one story to remind us we are all still being shaped into something stronger.